What's up guys, today I'm going to be bringing you guys how to play Trickstar. So this is a video I actually been meaning to bring you guys for a really long time now, but now since Trickstar Festival has been a new addition to the Trickstar, I finally bring you guys this video to its full potential. So basically I'm going to be going over I think 12 different scenarios, recovery options, combos, and different techs and trips that you may not or may know. Anyways, let's go and get straight into this video. So the first trick I'm going to be showing you is just the normal Candina line. There's many different ways to go about this, but this is the most scenario if you do not have a follow-up. So let's go and get straight into this. We're going to go and start by normal summoning the Candina. We're going to use the effect allowing us to add a Trickstar card from hand. We're just going to say Candina is the only card in hand, and we're going to add the Trickstar Light Stage. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to activate the Trickstar Light Stage, allowing us to add another Trickstar. If you don't know, actually, Trickstar monsters do 200 every time they burn, and Light Stage will add an additional 200, which is a separate effect. So it's really, really good. It also applies for battle too, so yeah. So anyways, we're going to add the Trickstar Lycoris. So for most standard purposes, I'm going to be doing Trickstar Lycoris on my turn. There's maybe different, options and stuff you can do, but I'm going to be summoning it like this. In this instance, I'm going to be summoning it in defense also, just to play around Lightning Storm, since in this scenario, we do not have the Korribane. I mean, you could put it in attack, but there's not much of a reason to. Anyways, that's it for the first route. We're going to go in and get into the second route. The second route involves you opening a copy of Reincarnation and Candina. This can also be a combination of Candina and Lycoris or whatever, but this is basically the most simple route to go. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to go and start this off by normal summoning the Candina and using the effect, allowing us to add a Trickstar card from hand. We're going to add the Trickstar Light Stage. I already explained what this card did. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's also a back row lock if you don't know. But we're going to go and use the effect of Trickstar Light Stage, allowing us to add Trickstar Lycoris for the follow-up. This card's actually really decent right now. I think Narcissus is actually a really good tech card if you want to test it out. I personally play one copy in my build. I'm obviously not going to show it off in this video, but I can show it off later. Anyways, what's going to happen from here is we add the Lycoris, and we're going to go and use the Lycoris effect. Quick note, Lycoris can be activated whenever. It is a quick effect, so it doesn't matter what phase you're in. But we're going to go and use the effect of Trickstar Lycoris, bouncing the Candina back to hand, and then we have Trickstar Candina for a follow-up and Trickstar Reincarnation in case they, add from deck or we want to do some little bit of burn damage. Also, Trickstar Reincarnation provides a backup plan in case one of your Trickstar monsters dies, so it's a really, really good card. But yeah, you set the Reincarnation, you got your follow-up, you got burn damage right here. This is pretty standard, nothing too crazy. But yeah, that's it for this combo. Now, we're going to go in and go to the next one. This involves us going against a card that would target one of our Trickstar monsters to resolve their card effect. So in this instance, I'm going to have pictures up on the screen. We have stuff like Widow Anchor, Effect Veiler, maybe Ghost Ogre, Imperm, just stuff like that would target one of our Trickstar monsters to resolve its effect. So basically how this works is we're going to normally Candina, we're going to attempt to use the effect. This is where they shotgun their card. We'll just say Infinite Impermanence, because that is the most simple, obviously. And we're going to go ahead and use our effect as Chaining 3 Trickstar Lycoris. So basically what this does is it dodges the Impermanence, and then you'll summon the Lycoris, Imperm will basically just go to the grave, and you still get your Surge. So we can add Light Stage, we can add Reincarnation. Really depends on the hand, but in this scenario, I think just adding a Light Stage would be a really good thing. Yeah, this is another line you can do. There's many other ways. This is just depending on the most bland hand possible. Let's go and get to the next tech and tip in the deck. So we have a copy of Candina and Trickstar Lycoris. So I'm going to be showing you a little trick that I found out when I first started playing the deck when it came out in early 2017 or something along those lines. But basically how this works is we're going to add another Light Stage from deck to hand. We're going to fetch out a Lycoris. So basically what's going to happen from here is once we have 2 or more Lycorises in hand, you can actually target the Candina and summon both of them. So if you didn't know why, it's actually a quick effect that targets the Trickstar monster as cost. So the first monster can never be summoned to the original zone of the Trickstar monster. But if you have two of them, the Chainlink 1 can be summoned to the original Trickstar monster zone. For instance, let me just show this off. We're going to go and use the effect of Lycoris twice. And we're going to go in and bounce the Candina. This is where you have to summon it to a separate zone. So we're going to go in and summon it to the middle column. And then we're going to go in and summon the last one, since Candina is off the field, to the original zone of Candina. So that's a little trick. This could be 3, it could be 2, it can only be 1. It depends on how many Lycorises you have. It just doesn't really do much besides that. But yeah, it's a really good way to get out burn damage on the field, and it's a really cool trick some of you guys may not know, because I've seen this in the comments. But anyways, let's go to the next Trickstar tip. Trickstar Droll Reincarnation. I'm gonna put up pictures for this one also. Basically how this works is, I'm gonna get Reincarnation, I'm gonna normally Candina, and I'm gonna go in and add the Trickstar Reincarnation. In this scenario, you don't necessarily need to have Candina. As long as you have access to Reincarnation, this still works, but you know, Candina is obviously gonna be the most safe option because 1, it can be returned to hand by stuff like Lycoris, Lilybell, Live Stage, just a lot of backup plans in general. But basically how this works is you need access to Reincarnation and Droll monsters. So if you don't know how this works, basically they add a card from hand. You actually could set this up on your own, but in this scenario we're going to say they add a card from hand. We're going to say E-Call. I'm just going to put a picture up on screen for each of the cards I'm going to be naming. Emergency Call, we got 6 Samurai Smoke, any of those additional spells, Reinforcing the Army, Signet Mining, any of those spells that add from deck to hand, Engage maybe. Basically how it works is on resolution, if you don't know, there's actually a resolution window where you can activate Trickstar Reincarnation. Then if Trickstar Reincarnation is allowed to resolve, you can go ahead and use the effect of Droll and Lockbird. Basically what this card does is it will resolve as Chainlink 2, and Reincarnation will resolve as Chainlink 1. So they will banish their entire hand, and they won't draw any cards. It sounds broken, but it's pretty rare now because of how many hand traps that are being ran. I have managed to snag some pretty nasty wins with this combo, but it's very rare now. Anyways, we're gonna go to the Trickstar combos. There's very few. I mean, there's different ways to pull off the FTK, but this is just the main burn combo if you don't open chain summoning. So basically you need a copy of Dark Room, Festival, or Access to Festival, plus Candina. So basically how this is going to work is, I'm going to go ahead and start this off by activating Dark Room. This is just here because I want to be able to put up a Spawn Trap, just in case I can bait out a Negate, or some burn damage off Candina. Then I'm going to normal summon the Candina and use its effect. We're going to go and add the Trickstar Light Sage. You should pretty much know what this card does by now, but it adds us a Trickstar to deck hand. We're going to go and use the effect, allowing us to add Trickstar Lycoris. If you already have a Lycoris, there's many different things you can do from here. If you're going turn 1, I personally think going for, what is that card called? Trickstar Narcissus is actually really, really good, the card I'm talking about right now. Basically what it does is, if you take, or your opponent takes damage by a card effect, you can special summon it from hand, and each time they activate a card from hand or the graveyard, you burn them for 200, and it will be 1,000 depending on how much burn damage you have adding up. But anyways, we're going to go in and activate Trickstar Festival. This will allow me to summon 2 level 1 Trickstar tokens. Unfortunately, this card does lock you into Trickstars, but you gotta understand, if you're playing Trickstar Burn in 2021, there's no reason to be running stuff, you know, out of the ordinary. But we're gonna go ahead and use the 2 tokens to make a Trickstar Diviridius. If you have extra extenders, in theory, you can make a Hauling Angel to put Diviridius under it for a bunch of burn damage, plus protection off Hauling Angel, but this is just the most standard, of course. So anyways, on summon, we're going to go and use the effect of Trickstar Diviridius. This basically allows us to burn them for 200, then Trickstar Light Stage will go off, and then Dark Room will go off 2 times since 2 different effect damages go off. So every time they will be taking Trickstar damage, which note, doesn't activate, they will be taking 1,000 damage each. Let me read Trickstar Diviridius. Yep, so the burn effect of Diviridius does not activate. None of the Trickstar cards activate unless they say you can. So under stuff like Mystic Mine and all of that, you can still burn, which is really nice. But yeah, anytime they take burn damage, they will be taking 1,000. This is where Trickstar Lycoris comes in handy, because we get our follow-up by bouncing Candina, we get to summon the Lycoris, and we get even more burn damage. They'll be taking 1,000 on the draw phase. Every time they normal summon or special summon a monster, they'll be taking 1,000. There is ways to out this, obviously, but, you know, Candina is already a follow-up, but yeah, that's it for that route. And next, I will be showing you guys the Trickstar FTK. Yes, I was the first person to showcase this on YouTube. I'm not sure why nobody's gave me credit. I'm just joking. But, yeah, let's go and get straight into this. What's going to happen is I'm going to start off by normal summoning the Trickstar Candina. I'm going to go and use the effect, adding Trickstar Light Stage. And basically how this works is we're going to use Chain Summoning and Dark Root to generate a pretty nasty FTK. If you don't know what an FTK is, it's basically a combo that allows you to drain or hand loop. Well, hand loop is a different thing, but drain your opponent's life points to 0 before they even start their turn. This usually happens on turn 1, but, you know, FTKs can happen on turn 2, but that is technically considered a OTK. Anyways, after we fetch the Lycoris off the light stage, we're going to go and use the Dark Room as Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 will be Lycoris, and Chainlink 3 will be Chain Summoning. Since it is a quick play, we can chain it from hand during our turn. The base law of this is going to work is Chain Summoning will go to the graveyard technically, then Lycoris will hit board bouncing Candina, and we can summon the Candina again. This is where we fetch another Trickstar Lycoris, allowing us to tag it out again. The position in this combo, since it's an FTK, really doesn't matter, but it is pretty hand reliant, so you could toy around with it. Anyways, we're going to normal the Candina one last time, searching us a Trickstar Festival. This is really, really good. This is why I'm so hyped for building Trickstars IRL. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and make our copy of Trickstar Holly Angel. If you don't know how this card works, it's a non-activating effect that says each time you normal summon or special summon monsters that are Trickstars to this card's zone, it burns for 200 damage. Unfortunately, Festival will only be burning for 200 even if you summon 2 to the exact zones of Holly Angel. It's a weird ruling, but that's how it works. But basically, this also has an effect that says Trickstar monsters it's pointing to cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So this helps you against stuff like Dogmatic Punishment and all of that good stuff. Anyways, we're going to go and activate the Trickstar Festival, allowing us to summon 2 level 1 Trickstar tokens. We don't care about the thing about getting locked because it also has a protection effect. Now this is the weird ruling I was talking about, where you only get to burn for 200 off the Holly Angel. So we're going to go 200 off Holly Angel, 200 off Light Stage, and the extra 600 since we did 200 each off 2 separate card effects. Now we're going to go to turn one of those Trickstar tokens into a Trickstar Bloom. Basically what this is going to do is allow us to force our opponent to draw a card and do another 1,000 since we just summoned to the zone of Holly Angel. If you're wondering why my life points are going down, I'm actually representing the life point loss of my opponent by myself. So yeah, that's why. But anyways, we're going to go and use the Trickstar Bloom effect, allowing us to make our opponent draw. And if they happen to draw into something like Nibiru, which, I mean, there's still ways to play around it, obviously, but it's a pretty detrimental card. But yeah, they force to draw a card, Lycoris goes off, Light Stage go off, and then the 2 Dark Rooms for another 1,000. You can also do this FTK, surprisingly, without even making it to your copy of, what is that card called? Chain Summoning. I'll show this off later, but anyways, we're going to make the Bloom. It's going to burn for 1,000 since we summoned under the Holly Angel again. And then we're going to go ahead and use the effect of Trickstar Bloom. This forces the opponent to draw. Unfortunately, stuff like Nibiru does exist, like I mentioned earlier, but this is where you got to kind of learn with the deck. So we're going to go and use Lycoris and burn for another 1,000 since we have Dark Rim on field. Then we're going to go ahead and turn the 2 Trickstar monsters into Trickstar Crimson Heart. Basically, this is another generic link to Trickstar. This can really be either then Cat Bat or Black Cat or whatever its name is, or Crimson Heart. I think just Crimson Heart just has better utility. Also, you can force your opponent to draw a card with it, so that's pretty nice. But we're not going to include RNG in this moment. We're just going to play solely off combo. We're going to be burning for another 1,000 since we summoned underneath Trickstar Holly Angel. And we will turn this time the Lycoris. Where is he going? We're going to go ahead and turn it into a Foxy Glove. So if you don't know how Lycoris works again, it's going to burn for another 1,000, which is really, really good, keep in mind. But if your opponent does control cards, this would actually be an OTK, but you could burn for basically game at this point, since Foxy Glove burns for amount of cards your opponent controls. So yeah, if this would literally be a FTK if they control even one card. But anyways, we're just going to assume we're going first and all, and we're going to make the Bella Madonna using those two. So basically how this works is Trickstar Bella Madonna does not point to any other Trickstar monsters. I can burn for 200 times the amount of Trickstar monsters with different names in my graveyard. One example is we have, I think, 6 different Trickstars. Let me go ahead and count this. We have Foxy Glove, Holly Angel, Lycoris, Crimson Heart, Bloom, and that. I think that's 6 different ones, so we will be burning for 1,200 damage. And let's just say, you know, it's not exactly that, because let's say they're playing Prank Kids, or they gained 1,000 off something. Still, we're doing an extra, you know, like 800 off this. So this is basically the FTK. This is how the FTK works. And yeah, that's the main, you know, the main big combo you're trying to get to. It's still possible without chain summoning, but obviously you're wanting to make it a chain summoning. But yeah, that's it for that combo. Let's go to the next part of the video. This is recovery options. Recovery options, there's a lot of different routes. I'm going to be showing you the most standard, obviously, because I don't want to make this video too long, but it's going to be pretty nice. Anyways, this involves normal summoning Trickstar Lilybell. So if you don't know, the second part of Trickstar Lilybell's effect is not once per turn. The only part of once per turn that Trickstar Lilybell is the summon, the special summon from adding. So it's really, really good. Anyways, this is one recovery route I'm going to be showing you. We're going to start this off by normal summoning the Trickstar Lilybell, going for battle and attacking directly for 800 damage. If you have light stage, you'll obviously be doing an extra 200, that makes it 1,000. But we're just going to assume this is all we have, since this is recovery after all. We're going to go ahead and add the Trickstar Lycoris since we attack directly. And from here, since we only normal summoned it this turn, we can actually use the effect of Trickstar Lycoris since it's a quick effect. Targeting the Trickstar Lilybell for cost, bouncing it, and we're going to use the effect of Trickstar Lilybell, special summoning it. Now, basically what's going to happen from here is I can actually use it again if I have another Trickstar monster in graveyard. I obviously didn't put one in grave just to show it off, but this could be multitude of different things. This could be Korribane if you need to beat over something big. This could be a Candina for a follow-up, maybe even another Lilybell, which is pretty funny. I personally only run one, but this could be a multiple of different Trickstar cards. Anyways, that's one recovery route. I'm going to go ahead and get into the next recovery route. This one is Trickstar Live Stage. A lot of people are sleeping on this card for some weird reason. Anyways, what this card does is basically, it generates free link tokens that can be used for stuff like Holly Angels, Bella Madonnas, Blooms, and even Diviridius at times. So this is really, really good, and on activation, you can add a Trickstar monster from the graveyard. This could be stuff like Candina, Lycoris, if you need to tag out your Candina for stuff like permanents and all that. It's just a really, really good card. I don't know why people are sleeping on this. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and start this off by activating our Trickstar Live Stage, targeting any of our Trickstars in grave. Obviously, I'm going to say that the copy of Candina is in grave. So we're going to add the Candina, and this is basically where you go ham. You get your free Trickstar monster, you can normal summon it. If you manage to have enough cards to put up a link, you can obviously put up a free Holly Angel, a free Diva. It's really, really nice. And overall, this card's just really aggressive and allows you to pull off some really good games. But yeah, that's it for the recovery option number 2. Let's go and get into recovery option number 3. This is pretty standard if any of you guys know this, but Trickstar Reincarnation has an effect during either player's turn. You can actually chain this on your opponent's turn too. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target one Trickstar monster in your graveyard, and special summon it. This could be any Trickstar monster. This card just wins games on its own if you know to properly time it. But basically how this works is I can actually banish my Trickstar reincarnation to summoning any of my Trickstars from grave. I'm going to banish it. In this scenario, I'm going to summon the Lilybell. So from here, I can actually return the Diva Radius by attacking directly, or I can actually summon the Diva instead. So I could banish the reincarnation to summon Diva. Diva would get its effect, and we're doing a lot of burn damage from here. Burn damage adds up over time, especially if you're playing against meta. Meta is specifically weirdly designed for this deck. It's kind of weird. But yeah. Anyways, we're gonna go to the last thing of the video. This is a little weird, recovery, not kind of recovery, but like a protection effect that Trickstar Festival has. Basically, what this allows us to do is when Trickstar cards or Trickstar links would be destroyed in general, you can banish this to protect them from battle or card effects. So basically how this would work is if they have Lightning Storm, if they have, let's say, Raigeki, anything that would blow up or destroy your Trickstar monster by battle or card effect, we can go ahead and banish the Trickstar Festival to protect them. It's really, really nice. It's like one of those Dukirsu effects. But yeah, we get to banish it, and we get to keep our Trickstar monsters. This applies to any amount that you want. Obviously, if it's multiples, then it's multiples, but yeah. Anyways, that's it for the video. I hope you people enjoyed this. If you want a part 2 to this, I can definitely make one. Anyways, I hope you people have a great day. This is Glass Gaming, and I am signing out.